Hello, my name is Jen. Welcome back to This and That Planning. These are actually the last nail designs that my old nail tech had done and the last time that you will see them on my channel. So it just means I have a surprise for you coming. So we are getting into things. I am planning out the week of August 22nd to August 28th. I am using a Scribble Prints Co. kit called Sunrise Beach. This is the last spread that I'm doing for summer. So even though I'm well into school at this point, I figured the last full week in August will be my last summer kit in my planner, and I chose to go with, believe it or not, the first summer kit that I had ever purchased. If not the first non-mystery kit that I had purchased since I started planning. I felt like it was fitting to end the summer with it. It was quite buried. It took me a minute to find it. But I'm also using an old lavender hollow foil bundle from SPC. I had mixed up my boxes. It looks like one got away from me. And I had a newer lavender hollow kit to put in any gaps that I might have had. So here we go. I decided to keep the bottom washi whole. I didn't even buy the additional 15mm strip because the beach scene I just absolutely loved. So I did not have the heart to split it up. And during purchasing, I was looking at it and I was like, how would you even split this? Do you keep the top half? Do you keep the bottom half? And I'm like, you know what? I'm not splitting it. So I decided not to split my bottom washi. I kept it whole. And this is kind of one of those reasons why I really, really appreciate Pink Diamond Planner Co. She does split the bottom washi, but she gives you the full large strip. And especially with Alicia Craft coming out with some gorgeous thicker overlays that go over the entire wide one, it gives you so many more options. I know that we're super happy in the planner community to have split washi, but I'm still kind of down for how my girl at Pink Diamond Planner Co. is doing it. So this week I didn't really have too many exciting things go on. So the main things that happened this week, my school had our open house, which is an extremely long day for me. I have an 1.5-hour commute one way to work now at this point. So I'm on the road for a total of 3 hours every single day. And when we have something like open house, I love to meet the parents, but they're starting it after 6 o'clock at night. So it's not like I can just run home after school. I'm kind of stuck there all day. And then when it starts and it's going and it takes you really late, I don't get home until extremely late. It just kind of wreaks a little bit of havoc, but it is something that is expected and planned out every year. So it's not like it was a surprise. And also in this week, my guy bought a car. He did that because if you listen to a previous plan with me, my car broke down. And he had just had his surgery when my car broke down. So my car was out. And the only reliable transportation that we had at that point were trucks. And if you guys are aware, I'm sure you are, they're putting diamond dust in our gas apparently because the prices are insane. So trying to drive a truck back and forth when you have such a long commute is very expensive on gas. So he thought it was more cost effective if he just went and bought a car. So he when I got home from work, he kind of surprised me with, hey, we got this more cost-effective option for gas because my car was the reliable gas long distance transportation. And when that went, he's like, okay, we'll just go ahead and get something else that is a little more effective. So that was nice. Rest of it is just a traditional week, nothing out of the norm. If you guys notice, I am starting at the top of my spread instead of the bottom like I normally like to. And the reason for that, I did not color block this week. So usually I color block if you're not familiar. And this week I decided not to. I'm laughing because once upon a time, watching Jen Joy Plans, I was laughing, and I think I even made the comment, "You're me or I'm you," because there's so many similarities. And I had just recently watched a video of hers that she uploaded this week. I think it's her last video. She decided not to color block in that video as well. I was kind of dying laughing because I knew the next video I was uploading I didn't have color blocked. I recorded this quite some time ago. I usually do voiceovers and uploads on the same day. So I had just watched her video and I'm like, oh my goodness, she didn't color block either. And then I also didn't color block. I just, it's one of those things that you find a little funny or odd or whatever. So I decided that since it's like a sunrise kit and it's more muted colors, that it would probably look adorable being intermixed. So when I started putting the boxes down for the spread, though, not in the video, but my day-to-day item boxes, I originally started by color blocking. I just looked at the top color and kind of went with it. And then I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't color block this week. And I had to go and pull some stickers up, but thank goodness I wasn't that far into it. So here we go. What I decided to do, since I didn't really have a lot of new and interesting things to discuss, I figured I would do one of the get to know you questions. This one has 101 questions. I'm not going to answer them all. Some of them don't quite apply. Some of them don't even know how to answer. So I won't answer those. But I figured now would be the time to do a get to know you tag. So what is my full name? My full name is Jennifer Lynn Field. Meaning of my name. Okay, so that one's an interesting one. My mom named me Jennifer because she could have swore that it meant God's gift. And that's why she went with Jennifer. And later I think it's like Great White Wave or something. Not entirely sure. And she's even tried finding it, like the meaning that she swore up and down that she saw on why she wanted to give me the name. And she hasn't been able to find it. So the meaning of my name, I was meant to be a gift from God, is what Mom was wanting to name me. Not sure if it was the first or the middle, but either way, it didn't work out. Who gave me my name? So my mom originally wanted to name me Michelle, and my dad wanted to name me Jenny. My mom didn't like the idea of such a short first name. She said that she would go with Jennifer, but not Jenny. And my dad was very insistent on Jenny, and eventually they did come to terms that my name would be Jennifer. And funny enough, I go by Jen, which is the next question. What is my nickname? So everybody calls me Jen. So my mom was concerned with the shortness of Jenny, and that's what my dad wanted, and I go by Jen. So I go by an even shorter abbreviation. Where am I from? I'm from Michigan. Where'd I grow up? Michigan as well. What are my hobbies? Clearly memory planning is a hobby. Also like to diamond paint. I like watching true crime on YouTube. Let me see. I have so many hobbies, and it's kind of more or less I'm a crafter. So I'll pick things up and lay things down. I also like games and puzzles and what have you. I've been a gamer since back in the day, but adulting and life happens, so I don't have as much time to game, so I don't really call myself a gamer anymore, but I do enjoy games as well. Let's see. What was my favorite class in school? I always loved history. And probably that's part of true crime, I guess. I always like learning about history, like stories from years past, especially quite older stories. I was just watching a YouTuber that does vintage cases for true crime, and she said that she gets the comment that they're the boring ones, and she thinks they're the fun ones. I have to agree with her. I think the older the case is, the more interesting it is, because so much time has passed. and to have information that has stood the test of time. Not all information stands the test of time. So I've always appreciated that and been fascinated by that. And even like in our day and age, the technology has come such a long way. So it's kind of, what did they do in years past when they didn't have that technology available to them? So I find it so fascinating. So history was my favorite subject in school. Let me see, who was my favorite teacher in school? That was a math teacher, funny enough. I had a lot of teachers that I liked and didn't like. It's kind of, I don't know that I had any teachers that were middle of the road. I either really liked them or really didn't like them, which might be why I became a teacher. But I would have to say my most favorite, or at least most influential teacher in all of school was Mr. July. He taught me math when I was at a private school. I kind of switched around schools quite a bit. And this private school that I attended, I was in, I want to say 7th grade. I was in 7th grade, yes. And he was my math teacher. And in 7th grade, we learned Algebra 1. So it being a private school, it was just the standard that school had. And Algebra 1 was very challenging for most of the class. And he really had a way of coming down to our level and building us up. He was very creative in his methods, and it really reached me. And even like when I went past his grades and I was back in public school, whenever I struggled and I would ask a math teacher why, and they couldn't tell me why, I'd always go back to that school. He became a principal, and he would still make time to like answer my questions. And it usually only took him but a minute, but he always had the answer, and it always made sense, and it always helped me. So that, I have to say, he was my favorite teacher. One of my parents' occupations, both of them worked in the shop in General Motors. Which one of your parents do you resemble? I've always resembled my mom. People have called us twins, and even said that I'm definitely her mini-me, that we look so much alike. However, recently my mom saw a picture of my dad and I, and she's like, "Oh my God, you look so much like your dad." So even though I've always, and everyone has always said that I look like my mom, like I'm her little mini her, when you could see my dad and I sitting next to each other and there was no one else in the picture, you could see a strong resemblance between us as well. What is my favorite color? Anything blue. I love water and ocean and beach. So if you could pick any shade of blue from the sky and the water, that is my favorite color. What is my favorite beverage? So I have always been hung up on Coca-Cola, and if I had to pick one, it'd be the vanilla orange, which is not a common flavor. It's sometimes challenging to find, but any type of Coke, cherry Coke, regular Coke. But I am now losing weight. That has been a big goal of mine. So since it has been a big goal of mine, we have given up Coke a lot of the time. I did have one today because today's my cheat day. But for the most part, I don't drink it anymore. So now I have to say I've moved on to chai. So I like chai tea. I like it hot. I like it cold. But chai is now my favorite beverage. Going through. Do you have any siblings? I do. I have a brother. And it says, what do your grandparents do for a living? So my grandparents, both of my grandfathers worked in General Motors as well. They both worked in the factory. And both of my grandmothers were stay-at-home mothers. So, yeah. Favorite perfume? A Mirage by Givenchy is actually my favorite perfume. Do I have any children? No, I do not. I wanted a large family. It just was not in the cards for me. Being a teacher, though, I get to have a lot of children every year. So I consider my students my children. I know some people think that that's odd, but, you know, I spend so much time with them in the week, and they're teenagers because I teach high school. I arguably spend more time with them at this age than their parents do. I'm by no means their parent, but I feel like I also have an invested interest. I want to see them graduate. I want to see them succeed. I love it when former students come back and let me know how they're doing. So, I call them my kids. They're not really my children, but I feel like I'm not a stranger. But, I did want to have children. I wanted to have a lot of kids. Just didn't happen, and that's fine too. It wants to know if I played any sports. So in school, I played basketball, volleyball. I did a little bit of cheerleading. Did softball was my main one. I played softball the longest. So yeah, I enjoyed sports quite a lot. What is my favorite animal? I'm a dog person. What is my favorite vacation destination? That's a hard one. I love to travel. When my mom wanted to go on a vacation with me, she said, where do you want to go for vacation? And you can't say Florida. So Florida's a big one for me. But I have recently went to Mexico a couple of times, and both times I just had an incredible time. I absolutely loved Mexico. So, I'd have to say it's a challenge now. And I also went on a road trip where I went to New Jersey in the boardwalks, and I absolutely love that. So, I even told my mom, hey, next time that you don't want to go to Florida and we're going to go on vacation together, I got a place for you. But then some handful of years back, it got hit by a hurricane, and they started rebuilding, but then it got hit again. And from what I understand, they don't have them anymore. So not sure. But like I said, the vacation destination, that's a hard question to answer. How did I perform in school? I was a pretty good student. So yeah, I like getting A's and perfect scores. So there's that. But then I also am the type of person, I only want to learn what I'm interested in. I don't want to learn what I'm not interested in. So if it's something that I'm finding boring or I'm not finding meaning in it, I really don't like learning it. It's like, I just don't want to have to learn it. And as far as always wanting perfect scores, even in college, I'll fight for every point. If I'm not sure why I got something wrong or a point taken off, I'm the annoying student that will go up and be like, hey, why did I get this wrong? Like, explain. And it's not even so much that I'm looking to get my points back, but if I don't know what I did wrong, like if I can't see it, sometimes you look at it and you're like, okay, yeah, that was way wrong. But if I have no understanding why I got marked wrong for something, I'm going to ask, because how do I do better next time if I don't know? So I will say that I was a great student, but I could see how I'm also the annoying kid in class. So there's that. Let's see, what else? Did I enjoy school? For the most part, yeah. Do I have a school memory? I think we all do, but none that really truly stand out big time. My level of education, I have a bachelor's degree. I did start master's degree a couple times and ultimately decided that's not for me. Student loan debt is real. So we've been kind of struggling or having some struggles with that. I have the most obscene story with my student loans. I've never heard another story like it, but let's just say it's not right. It wasn't legal, but who do you talk to? So if you know, comment down below, because I would love to know. Like, please tell me the things. But I even reached out, like they had an email address to email the federal government, and I emailed them, and they're like, talk to your current loan holder. And then my current loan holder was like, yeah, that's not right. Dispute it on your credit report. And I'm like, that makes no sense. Like, why would I dispute it on my credit report, like my entire student loan? It's just the weirdest thing. So yeah, and even people are like, oh, talk to the people that help you with your credit. As soon as you say student loans, they're like, yeah, we don't do that. So I've been struggling with the student loans. So to get a master's degree, it's just way more money than what I would actually reap in raise, like in a pay raise that I would accomplish. And if I ever decide to stop teaching, the field that I want to go into would double my current salary without having to get a more advanced degree. So even though I've started 2 separate master's degrees at 2 separate times, I have decided that I am not going to be pursuing anything higher than a bachelor's. Let's see. Still going through these questions. Do you prefer PC or Mac? I am a PC person. I kind of don't want to get on the rant because I know that they are very popular, but I kind of actively avoid Apple. So back in the day, I feel that Apple products were good and they were superior, but I feel like they have taken a sharp decline and they're kind of more feeding on being part of the in crowd or the elite if you have Apple products. But what they're giving you for what you're paying is not the bang for your buck. So I don't own Apple. So which phone do you have? I'm glad you asked. I have a Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus. I know they have newer versions out, but my S10 Plus is working just fine. And it has a wireless charging feature. So a lot of people are probably like, oh, well, my phone charges wirelessly too. No, it's not that my phone charges wirelessly. I can charge wireless devices off of my phone battery. So I don't have to be hooked up to a charger. I can be on my phone, but if I turn my phone upside down and I put it into power sharing, I can charge somebody else's phone. I can charge like my earbuds. I can charge my smartwatch, which is also a Galaxy watch. So it has the wireless charging feature, and it's the only phone that Samsung Galaxy had it on, which I'm really sad about because I love that feature. So I'm probably going to keep this phone until I can't use it anymore. Let me see. How many languages do you speak? I'm unfortunately way too American. I only speak English, and it's American English at that. I do know words in several other languages. Even some quite obscure ones, but I don't know enough to even really have a conversation or put enough to put sense together in a lot of the languages. So yeah, that's the only language I speak. Have I ever been out of your country? I have. I've been to Mexico and Canada. I would love to travel to a lot more other countries, and hopefully this summer I will be going to Malaysia and Thailand, but I don't know. Nothing's on the books yet, but I hope that that is in my near future. Looking. What is my eye color? Is brown. It asks if I'm often sarcastic. That is another interesting question. I grew up highly sarcastic. My mom was sarcastic, you know, it's like the area I grew up in. Sarcasm was the way you talked and spoke to people. Going out of my area to go to college, I started finding that not everybody appreciates sarcasm. Like everybody in my orbit growing up, it was all sarcasm all the time. When I went away to college and people were getting hurt by sarcasm, I started learning to be more mindful of it. And even more so as a teacher, I'm finding more and more that there's a lot of people that sarcasm does not sit well with. So I try to be mindful of other people. However, sarcasm is almost my love language. So when I get around another sarcastic person, sorry, Discord notification. But when I get around another sarcastic person as well, I love it. I absolutely appreciate it. It's like, oh, I finally have somebody I can let my hair down with, you know, because it's just what I've always known. But like I said, for the most part, I have stopped with sarcasm. Let me see. What is your idea of a perfect date? Something unusual. I feel like dinner and a movie has been so done that it's boring. So anything that is unusual, I love. So what do I mean by unusual? I mean, I'm 40 years old. Take me to Chuck E. Cheese and play skee ball with me. Like, that is unusual. I love that type of stuff. My guy and we were waiting to pick up his brother from the airport recently. And we had like over an hour, and he's like, well, what do you want to do? And I'm like, well, let's go play putt-putt. And he's like, all right, let's go. And my guy is older than me. So I'm 45. He's older than 45. And we just went and played putt-putt in the middle of the day in a casino on the Las Vegas Strip. So it was incredible. Absolutely enjoyed it. So for me, a perfect date is anything unusual outside of the norm. Still scanning. Says, are you a dog person or cat person? Dog. Are you a good cook? So that's another one. I'm actually a pretty good cook. However, I don't like to cook. I keep telling people there is a difference. I do not know why I don't like to cook. I don't like being in the kitchen. I will for people that I love, like Thanksgiving dinner. I've helped out with my family and, my guy, I care about him. I'm planning on making him dinner tonight. So I will cook and I can cook. I just don't prefer it. Looks like I'm kind of running out of time here. What is your sign? I'm a Cancer, almost not a Cancer though. I'm like right at the very end. I prefer the, what do you call them? The personality test. I'm an INTJ. So if you know what that is, I prefer that to signs, but I'm fully an INTJ. And just skip down to the end. Do you prefer people who are blunt or people who choose their words carefully? I prefer blunt people. And some people say that I'm not nice or you can't be nice to me. It's not that. I just appreciate directness. Don't soften me up. Don't sugarcoat things. What do you need? What do you want? Don't feed me a whole bunch of comments and waste my time before we get to the punchline of what you want me to improve on. Just jump straight to the punchline. All right, that looks like it. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Goodbye.